So I realizing after I closed that I didn't get the shrunken version of this color changed here. So let's quickly do that. So you actually have to get it shrunken down before you get the item. So here we have at the within the minimum width 992, we need to make a separate one for the shrinking. So I'll copy that and put that inside here. So again, this has to be a subset of the other one, and I'll get that same color in there. That way when it's large or shrunken down, it'll still be the color. Okay, we're ready to do some image things now. So before you do that, it helps to have your images folder. So let's hide our stuff here and look at our folder. So I made an images folder, but I didn't put anything in it. And I had another images folder where I do have stuff in it. So I'm just going to copy some of those over, and we'll talk a little bit about getting the right kinds of images. So these images here, they're big. So if we look at the dimensions, 1920 by 1080. 1570 by 1256, 1024 683, and 900 by 900. So those are all acceptably large. The one way that you can make sure that you're getting the right size images is to look at what they're used for their stuff. So this big header image they have is 1900 by 1250. So I want to have an image that is a similar pixel dimension, knowing that it's going to be used that big. And this particular image that they have in the template is interesting because they made it darker. So it's the image itself has been made with this dark overlay to make sure that the white type would read on top of that. So that's something that we can also do. So when you look for images to put in, think about getting the right size of things, and then getting the contrast that you need. So if in this page, if I want to do white type on it, I'm going to have to find something that will be dark or make it darker. So let's look at this image here, and hovering over it shows it's only 480 by 324. That's not going to work. So I can, it used to be better, but I can, where is it, tools, go to size, and only do large. You used to be able to put in a pixel dimension thing. So these should be larger, but I don't, why is this one showing up again? Ah, this is the same image but the larger version of it. So that's good. So I think my computer's still freaking out when I do this. I'm going to open it in a new tab and save it from here. And in a new tab, it'll let you see it in all its glory. And I'm just going to do a save as to get around the problems there. And this is just a student experimental project. If I were doing this for a commercial project, you need to definitely pay for your images, and it doesn't usually cost that much. You're doing this for a client, pay for your images. And some people would say even comping is usage, so be aware of your usage rights and where you do not have rights. So I'm going to make sure these all go into my images folder, and I'm going to rename them here. It's a good idea to keep track of where your images are coming from. You can do a reverse image search if you don't make citations that help you know where they're coming from, but that's one way or another. You've got to know where the images are coming from. I like this image. It's also big, so I'll do this one as well. Open in a new tab and save it so it doesn't crash my machine. And each time I'm doing this, I'm simplifying the names. And my rules are all lowercase, no punctuation, no spaces. If I want something that's like a space, I do an underscore or a dash to preserve legibility. So is this even the right images folder? Yes. Make sure they get to the right place. And I'm going to open up Photoshop. Hopefully this doesn't take too long. That image that I have of the nuts, I want to save out a darker version of that just to be safe. And there are ways to kind of within the browser make something darker, and maybe I'll show you that as well. But let's look at big nuts here and show you how to make it darker in Photoshop. Okay, so the easy thing is going to be just adding an effect. I can't do that when it's locked. And doing a color overlay. We don't want 100% gray. If we do a multiply color mode, that's going to make it darker. Let's use black, not at 100%. 75% sounds like a good round number. Okay, so that would work, and then we can save this out. So usually I'll do the old, they call it legacy, but this works really well to save for web. So it tells me it has a JPEG, 571K, that's nice and small. My minimum size is going to be 80 quality, which is very high. Don't go lower than that. You can go higher. Like maximum would be, was it 100%? 100%. But very high should get what you need in a JPEG. I usually do optimized. So my size here, 2100 by 14, that's larger than what I need, but it's not that far off and it's not that big of an image, so I think I'm okay. So I'm going to save this. It's going to save what I have highlighted here. You can do 4-up and try out different options. So like in this square, I could do a PNG 24. It's going to be really big, I think. What do you think? Thinking. So PNGs are based on size. JPEGs really do great with large images that have a lot of similar colors. So much bigger, 2.6. So when you hit save, it's going to save the version that has the blue box around it. So let's save our JPEG, and I'm going to append the name here with a dash. Make sure I know it's the dark version, setting it to my right place, and we're good there. So let's hide our Photoshop and see how we can put some images in. So we're trying to replace this image. It doesn't look quite so dark here. Maybe I'll want a lighter version. So we find where the image is attached. Header masthead has the image. Okay, so let's copy that section. So far in my styles, I've done, oh, here it is, header masthead color. Well, that's my initial thing that I did, proving that the style sheet works. So I'm not going to do that anymore. It was already white, wasn't it? Yeah, color white. So here we have the image address. // means it comes out of where it is. So this is the style sheet inside the CSS folder. So we're coming out of that folder, and then back into the assets folder, into the IMG folder, to this image. So let's look at what ours is. And I'm here. So that would mean, so if I'm inside this folder on this style sheet, then I'm going back a level, which would be back up to this level, and then dipping into the assets folder, into the images folder, and doing this header bg.jpg. So my file is in a different place. So instead of, once I back out to this main level out of the CSS folder, instead of going to assets, I'm going to go to the images folder and do big nuts dark. Okay, so and I think, what is this? I thought there was a way to copy its address. I'm not seeing it quickly though. So just keep this to the side so you can see it. So instead of assets and IMG, I'm going to go straight to images, and I need the name of my file. It needs to be exactly what I have here, big nuts underscore dark.jpg. So if it were JPEG or capital JPG, it might fail. So I'm going to save that and see what it does. Oh, it failed. Why did it fail? It's saved. Okay, let's see if we can use our developer tools to find why it failed. Header masthead, here it is. And usually if you hover over this or click on it, big nuts dark.jpg in the images folder. If it's a working image, it open a new tab, shows us the image. Okay. So on this one, open a new tab, couldn't find it. Are we in the same? So we're in Babcock Styles. We back out into images. And images, big nuts. Oh, it's dash dark. Oh, there we go. Isn't it good that I make some mistakes so you can see that simple mistakes ruin everything. And there we go. Okay. So it's shorter than the other one, isn't it? Background size cover. It still works. I just thought that the other one was bigger. That's too dark. Is that because of the proportion of the image? Let's go back to Photoshop. It's still open. That's not that different from another way to if you want your images to be exactly like the other one, you can paste them into the first one, the original. So if I were to copy this whole image and paste it into here, then I know it's going to save out at exactly the same size. Let's try that. What were we doing? Color overlay again. And let's try a lighter version. That's more like 50%. Same place. Big nuts dash dark, and here I'll put in the number. And change it here. Dash 50. Oh, it's the same. Okay, well that looks better. I just thought that it was showing me more of the image than it does actually. Okay, so that's the basics of how to get an image in there. This recording's a little bit long, so I kind of want to do another one to show you how to get these other images in and how to create image blocks that aren't there.